Thanks to everybody for joining today. We're really looking forward to meeting with you all and sharing our presentation. My name is Paul Martin. I am on the Technology Alliances team here at ServiceNow. And one of the technology partners that I work very closely with is Zoom, who is going to be presenting to everybody today. Zoom has a number of integrations that are available on the ServiceNow store currently. They have a number of integrations that are slated to be released in the next 6 months, which is very exciting. Keep a lookout for that. But today what we'll be talking about is the ServiceNow plus Zoom Phone integration. And so without stealing too much of their thunder, I'm just going to go ahead and pass things off to a couple of folks from Zoom today. We have Hema and we have Mike on the line. So Hema, feel free to take it away.
Thanks, Paul. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see everyone here. I'm Hema Ravishankar, Senior Product Manager, Zoom Phone API and Introduction Integrations. And joined with me today is Mike Williams. Over to you, Mike, for quick introductions.
Thanks, Hema. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Williams. I'm a technical sales architect here at Zoom. Before joining Zoom, I spent about 15 years in IT services and holding roles such as service owner, product owner, member of change advisory boards. So very familiar with your world. With that, I'll turn it back over to Hema.
Thanks, Mike. Before we jump into the agenda, we want to do a quick poll to understand what stage you are all with Zoom Phone. Whether you use Zoom Phone today, you have a proof of concept of Zoom Phone, you're considering Zoom Phone, or you're not sure what Zoom Phone is. You will see a poll appear. Please do click in to let us know where you are with Zoom Phone. Give a couple of more minutes for everybody to get to the poll. Okay. The poll results are here. So it looks like most of you have been already using Zoom Phone, and many of you are also considering to use Zoom Phone. So we are hoping that this presentation is going to give you a fair idea of what we do with ServiceNow and how Zoom Phone currently works with ServiceNow. Let me jump into the agenda. So for today's agenda, we're going to be talking about the Zoom experience. What is Zoom? Why Zoom Phone? Why ServiceNow and Zoom Phone? How do you get this integration? What are the features that we currently support in ServiceNow and Zoom Phone integration? And then we will walk through a use case. We will walk through a use case and talk about how the ServiceNow and Zoom Phone integration works. And then I'll pass it on to Mike for a quick demo of this integration, and then we will wrap it up with a Q&A. So the Zoom experience, right? You all know that Zoom is more than a video meetings platform. It has all that you see in this wheel: unified communication, developer platform, virtual events, and customer experience. It caters to all your communication needs, and it's a highly scalable and globally distributed platform. So in this, what is and why Zoom Phone, right? Zoom Phone is built in the best-in-class platform as Zoom meetings. You can make calls with the same familiarity that you do with Zoom video meetings. Zoom Phone is a cloud-based platform. It has global coverage. It has secure communication, trusted architecture, and it is a VoIP phone service with provider flexibility, and you can bring in your own carrier. And we all know how powerful ServiceNow is. it is a rich and valuable, it has rich and valuable data, and it also has powerful workflows. What if we can bring in Zoom Phone into ServiceNow? What would be the benefits, right? You can view meaningful caller information right within the workspace with pop-ups for each call. And then you can automatically dial a phone number right from ServiceNow by clicking on a contact in ServiceNow. And then you can leverage automatic call logging to keep your recordings and voicemail tracked and accessible right within ServiceNow. Now, how do you get this integration? You can get it right out of our marketplace, go into the Zoom app marketplace, search for Zoom Phone for ServiceNow, and then you click on visit to add. And then when you do that, you would be redirected into the Zoom Phone integration on the ServiceNow store. And right there, you can install the Zoom Phone integration for ServiceNow. What features do we currently support? The Zoom Phone ServiceNow integration allows you to start making your phone calls right from within your ServiceNow environment without having to jump out of ServiceNow to start making calls. You'll be able to click to call, where you can dial a number right out of your contact, or you can manually enter a phone number and make your call. It supports automatic call logging, so all of your incoming and outgoing calls are automatically logged within ServiceNow. And then if you had a voicemail or you recorded your calls, you will be able to access those recordings also within your call logs. And then there are screen pop-ups supported where if it's a known contact, the contact pops up. And if it's an unknown contact, it allows you to create a new user record right while you're making the call. And then on top of all this, you get the same Zoom Phone call quality and security while you're using the integration with ServiceNow. Now let's walk through a quick use case. And the characters in our use case are a knowledge worker, Hannah, and an internal IT help desk agent, Jake. Hannah has been recently issued a laptop, and she's having trouble with the laptop. So what she does is she calls the help desk, and the call is assigned to Jake, and Jake answers the call. While the call is answered, there's some issue and the call gets disconnected. Now, what would Jake do? Jake would open up ServiceNow, and then he would open up the Zoom Phone, soft phone, and then he would search for Hannah's name right from the soft phone, and then he would make a call to Hannah from ServiceNow. While Jake is making a call to Hannah, in the background, we would open the Hannah's user record so that Jake is able to reference all of Hannah's information right from ServiceNow. Jake identifies the issue and resolves the issue for Hannah. And then Jake moves on to end the call with Hannah, and then he finds all of his outgoing logs and incoming logs right within ServiceNow. When he opens the logs, if he had recorded the call, he's able to capture the recording. The recording is available within the call log. And on clicking on the URL for the recording, he's able to view the recording and play the recording. And then Jake closes the ticket. So this is a day in life of an agent where we talked about a use case where an agent receives a call and then an agent makes an outgoing call. Now over to you, Mike, for the demo. Let me stop sharing.
Thanks, Hema. Yeah, so what I'm about to show you is I'm going to walk through a recording I did the other day, kind of showing you how this integration flows, again, with Hema's journey of an agent and a contact. And I want to show you both calling as well as the call log features. So give me just a moment to share my screen. And I think what's really important here that Hema had mentioned is that our goal here is to really reduce those friction points, right, between the callers and the agents in the field taking these calls and coming to resolution with a lot of those calls. The other thing that we're trying to solve is a lot of context switching, right? So every time that a person needs to jump between different applications and enter in new information, that costs time and that costs mental energy. And so I think what we're trying to do here with this integration really is to lower those pieces down to a point that it feels more natural for the agent. Their life is inside of ServiceNow. And so we want to keep them there and to do their work inside of that space. So first off, let's just take a look at where you can make a phone call. So right from here, if I wanted to make an ad hoc call, I can click on the phone icon at the top right there, and I can start entering a phone number or a contact. What's cool about this is we're actually searching right now the local director or the directory that's housed at Zoom for all employees that are inside of this organization. So right from here, even if I didn't have an incident I was working on, I can make a phone call to another technician. And what's happening here is we are cross-launching then from ServiceNow right into Zoom Phone. Notice here, and I'll pause this video to mention this here, when we made that call, we did not find any user records or contacts for this person. This was unknown to the system, to ServiceNow. So what's happening here is ServiceNow is bringing up a new, and recognizes that, so it's bringing up a new user record here for us to create a new user or new contact for this interaction. So that's pretty cool. I'll show you in a second what it looks like when we do discover a repeated caller. So we're doing this lookup on that business phone field, as you can see there, that attribute. So we're looking for that a string match on that. So then next up here, what I'm about to show is, again, clicking to call using that open frame option. But this time I'm going to use a known phone number to ServiceNow. And I'm going to, again, make that ad hoc call. And this time the user was discovered. So we're calling, again, there's that cross launch into Zoom. And you can see here now the user record, which is myself. It was discovered that I've made this phone call in the past. It looked up that business phone record, and it made that match. And now I can go ahead and begin adding an incident to this and updating this user's record. So the other way that we can dial is instead of doing ad hoc, we can also, on any user record, go in on that business phone field again, and we can just do a click to call. So here I'm actually selecting that phone icon on the right-hand side by the business phone field. And again, we're going to take that and we're going to cross launch right into Zoom and make that phone call and make that connection back out to that user. So those are a couple of different ways that we have an integration right into ServiceNow as far as dialing out and receiving calls. And now what I want to show you, stop share here for a second. I want to bring up what call log looks like. Okay. So as Hema said, we do have the capability to record all of the call activity that's happening between Zoom Phone and ServiceNow. So what you're seeing here is I'm going to select my call logs, and we give you a ton of information here. Let me just pause and I'll walk through some of these fields. As you can see here, we've got the call type, so which direction the call is coming. So whether it's incoming or outgoing from an agent or from a customer in the field calling into the help desk in this case. We're grabbing the start times of when that call happened, how long the duration was, who that caller was. If it was a known caller, we're going to list their name. If it's an unknown caller, the field will be blank until we discover and add them into our contacts list. We give the call number, again, who the callee is, and the callee's number. But then we also give you a bit more contextual information. So if we click on the small I here for more information, you can see the caller ID, who that caller was again. So some of that repeated information. But as Hema said, we also are able to capture any call recordings right from here. So the agent is able then to select that call recording URL and then review that call recording. So from here, you can see we've got the callee name, we've got the rest of that metadata information, the phone number, the start time, the duration, and then your agent is able then to play back that recording of that call. So then the other thing that we're able to do is on any of these records, we're able to go in and again, see more information, but this time looking at voicemails. So very similar to recordings, we get that URL that we're able to then click on. and very similar information and metadata that we had before with recording, but this time as a voicemail that we missed. That concludes the demonstration. Back to you, Hema.
Thanks, Mike. Let me share my screen again. Yeah, thanks, Mike. That was awesome to see the power of Zoom Phone within ServiceNow. We are hoping that this integration helps break silos and makes the agent more productive and giving them more power within ServiceNow. So where can you get this integrations from? You can get it right out of the Zoom app marketplace, or you can get it out of the ServiceNow store. You would see these apps published in both these marketplaces, and you can go over and install today. As of today, you would be able to get the installation similar to the demo that you saw from Mike now. And if you wish to learn more about Zoom Phone, you can go into explorezoomphone.us to learn more about Zoom Phone. And that's about it. Thank you all for joining us today. And before we wrap up, I would want to quickly take some questions that came in. So let me.
I see we've got a couple here. So this one I think might be for you, Hema. So do voicemail and recordings, do they come with transcripts today?
Today, we store only voicemails and recordings. We don't have transcript, but that's a very good question. That's something we could possibly consider in the future.
Great. The other one that I got here, I can answer this one. While making phone calls, does the Zoom Phone client cross launch? Yeah, it does. So if you notice in the demo, we are cross launching from ServiceNow and into our Zoom client to establish that call. So. And we got one more here. Which regions is the integration available in?
Zoom Phone is a cloud-based system. So wherever you're installed your ServiceNow integration, it should work in those regions. I don't see why it would not.
Great.
Any other questions?
Yes. So there is a question about, is there a resource that helps understand best practices for putting phones in ServiceNow, their CMDB? This time we don't have an integration, but ServiceNow does have an integration called Spoke that does allow you to provision phones in from ServiceNow into Zoom Phone. So I would check out that integration.
My other recommendation there would be to reach out to the Zoom and or the ServiceNow support teams that you work with, just because as attendees of this webinar know, spokes are very powerful. They allow for a good amount of configuration. And so, subject matter experts on both the Zoom and the ServiceNow side of things can kind of guide you through capabilities and then ultimately how to execute on any of those specific workflows that you've got in mind.
We do have another question. What admin permissions are required for this integration? Great question. I would check out our documentation on support.zoom.us. All of our guides are there. And actually, I can post in the chat here in just a moment that specific guide. If I get a second. And then another question that came in, Hema, is this similar to the Zoom call center? How is Zoom Phone and call center, how are they different?
Zoom Phone and Zoom Contact Center are different products. You would hear more about Zoom Contact Center in the coming months, so stay tuned for that.
Another question came in. Looks like we had, I'm trying to say this correctly here. So Hema, you said we didn't have to leave the ServiceNow screen to use the embedded soft phone, but in our demo, we exited out to the Zoom clients. Are both supported today?
It is a cross launch, like Mike said, it is a cross launch. So you can dial right out of the ServiceNow screen, but it does cross launch and the call goes through the Zoom client, using the same quality of call that a Zoom client uses. So yeah, the call finally goes through the Zoom client, but you're able to make the activity of dialing out right out of ServiceNow.
Perfect.
Okay.
Any other questions? Feel free to throw them in the chat.
Yeah.
Give it another minute or two here. I think we can take the non-response and silence as we've addressed all the questions that the attending group would have. So Mike, Hema, if there isn't anything else. Oh, it says chat is disabled. Are you able to put questions in the Q&A panel instead then where they're coming through?
Yeah. Yeah. Please put them there. We can answer them there.
Give it another minute then, in case anybody was having difficulties with chat and couldn't get to the Q&A pop out.
I just posted in the Q&A for everyone the link right to the support article that talks about the permissions required for this integration. So.
Will this recording be sent out? I believe it will be sent out to attendees. If not, we will be posting it in the ServiceNow community under the actual event page where you went to register. So I will double check with our marketing team to see if we can send it out. If you don't receive it, then just go to the same page in the community where you registered and we'll have a link to the recording there. Great question, Lauren. All right. I think that's everything then. If anybody does have questions that we weren't able to address today or that didn't come up during the time that we had allotted, feel free to reach out to anybody on either the Zoom or the ServiceNow side of things, on the account teams or the support teams that you work with, and we can have them redirected to some of the subject matters here, or they can answer those questions through the channel that you present them to them with. But I'd like to just say thanks again to the team from Zoom, Mike and Hema. You were wonderful today. Hopefully this was helpful for all the attendees, and to the attendees, thanks for joining. Like I said, hopefully this was helpful. If you have any other questions, follow up with us. But thanks everybody for your time and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thanks.